Well, g'day curd nerds. G'day curd nerds. Well, 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 g'day curd nerds. Just checking to make sure everything's working there. Yep, looks good. Sounds good. All right, fantastic. Welcome to Ask the Cheeseman. This is episode 152. Amazing. Welcome to new YouTube members, Megan McIntyre. G'day, Megan. Thank you for your support. And Angela Saguna, I think that's how you pronounce it. But thank you, Angela. We also have some new patrons this week, which is absolutely fantastic. Niels Nielsen, Glenn Shepherd, Alan Friedman, and Ken Ritchie. Thank you to all of you for supporting the show financially, and to everybody else who's turned up today, and YouTube members and patrons. Oh, and everybody else who isn't anyways. No obligation, of course. Just helps Kim and I get these shows going on a regular basis. But thank you very much, everybody. Really appreciate it. Okay, some announcements. Oh, well, all right, one announcement. The new video this week will be Bacon Cheese Log. It's the final in the series of the What You Can Make with Cream Cheese. Thank goodness. But yeah, we've got a super chat already, which is absolutely fantastic. I'll just kill that off. It's from Angela Smith. Thank you, Angela. I appreciate your $5 super chat. Thank you so much. There's no comment or anything, but fantastic. Thank you, Angela. Let me just think. We have a gallery today. We have lots of photos of cheese in the gallery, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. I'm going to enjoy that. And I think quite a few of the gallery submitters are in the chat today, so that would be great to see their reaction. Okay, nothing else on the news front really. If anybody's after news of Kim, she's in the chat there. She's doing okay, a little bit fatigued lately from the after the completion of the radiotherapy, but other than that, she's doing really well. And you can probably see that side. Holly the cheese dog sitting down there. Can I get a close up? No, I didn't adjust the camera correctly, but there's Holly down there, if you're wondering who that is. Okay, let's have a look at some of the questions this week. We've got a few already. Let's have a look. Ruth is boiling bagels. You know what, Ruth? I've never made a bagel before in my life, but I've eaten quite a few, especially with cream cheese and smoked salmon. That seems to be my favourite way to have a bagel, but it sounds great that you're making them yourself. Live Life. G'day, Live Life. Well, actually, let's say some hellos first before we get into all these questions. Live Life. G'day, mate. Ambrose, how are you? Lovely to see you. Cease, I think that's Cease. G'day, Cease. Monique. Who else we got? Gavin Weber. Oh, that's me. Martin. G'day, Martin. Bruce. Hello, Bruce. Hello, Nicola. Lovely to see you in the chat. All. G'day, mate. How are you? The Markinator. G'day, mate. Marlene. G'day, Marlene. And Northman and your babushkat. Windwolf Alpha, g'day, mate. Who else we got here? Kuma, g'day, Kuma. Zabi, I think that's how you say it. G'day, mate. Deep South Texas, got Larry there. G'day, Larry. Kevin, g'day, Kevin. Lovely to see you, mate. Who else we got? Bruce, did I say Bruce? I'll say it again. G'day, Bruce. Dylan, Diego, g'day, mate. Darren, Kim, of course, was Cabreka, Charlie, g'day, Charlie, Rocky. Who else we got there? Jim, g'day Jim, lovely to see you, mate. Leonidas, g'day, mate. Claire, hello Claire. And Sadie, I know I never say that right, but sorry, mate. But thanks for turning up. Herb, Charlie, another Charlie. G'day, Charlie, lives down the road. G'day, mate. Stephen, g'day, Stephen, lovely to see you. And Craig, who lives down the road as well. And Angela has a question. We'll get to that in a sec. And Prepping Today has a question. We'll, that. Lots more people turning up. Thank you so much. Oh, Sol's here, Steve's here, that random guy in the corner, Prepping Today, Julia, ex-PFC Wintergreen, g'day mate. That'll do. Oh, Ian, g'day Ian. That'll do for the g'days. Or we'll never get the show started, will we? Let's get into a question. We've got Live Life has a question here, which I think Nicola has already answered because he's been very active in the chat there before the show started and I had to go get my coffee. Okay, but the question is, does anybody know if you can use brie or camembert white mould to make more brie or camembert, just like you can use blue cheese to make more blue cheese? Well, you can certainly use the mould. You can scrape a bit of that off and inoculate your milk for sure, but don't forget that you will still need the starter culture. Because unless you're using raw milk, of course, which already has native flora or lactic bacteria in it already. So if you're using pasteurised homogenised milk, you're still going to need to use a starter culture as well as the mould you've harvested from another brie or camembert. Ambrose says, hi Gavin and Kim, hope you're enjoying the beginning of your summer, making the most of the end of mine. It's just, spring has kind of sprung. If anybody's seen, if anybody's been onto the vlog channel, you would have seen, let me just, if anybody's, I'll start again. If anybody's been on the vlog channel, you would have seen, oh, I can't even get things to work. My goodness. Curd nerds, I'll tell you what. If I could cut and paste something, it'd be shocking. Anyway, if anybody's had a look at my vlog channel lately, they would have seen a lovely, I think I called the video Just Breathe. Anyway, it was just a little expose of all of the blossom, all the fruit trees that are blossoming at the moment in my front garden. But there's lots of that going on around here. We're having a bit of trouble sourcing vegetable seedlings. I don't have, well, the seeds I've got a few seeds left, but they're all, they're not for spring, they're for autumn. So that's not good. And because all the hardware shops are shut here and all the nurseries and all that sort of stuff because of stage 4 lockdown, we can't get any seedlings. In fact, we tried to get some home delivered, but they didn't deliver to our side of Melbourne. So I'm going to have to, there are lots of tomato seedlings coming up in some of the garden beds and around the yard, as you do when you grow your own tomatoes. So I'll have to harvest those and pop those into the garden beds. But anyway, on with the cheese. We will get some veggies in, that's for sure. Cecilia or Sec says, I made a Buddha but it came out wholly. What on earth did I do wrong? Actually, it wasn't bad, it just wasn't what I was looking for. Now, I've had similar experience when I've done a washed curd cheese. I'm pretty sure, if I can remember rightly, Buddha is a washed curd cheese. I found when I used ordinary tap water as the water that you heat up and wash the curds with, if you use that, I found that, especially in Gowda and Edam, I never experienced it in Buddha, that's come out quite good, that there was some CO2 development within the cheese. And when I used pure water without any chlorine, fluoride and any other minerals in it, it tended not to form holes. Also, I find that those soft cheeses from that part of Europe, also, if you don't salt them enough, there's a lot of gas development because I'm pretty sure Buttermilk uses Floridana maybe, which is an aromatic mesophilic. You'll find there's a gas-producing lactic bacteria in the culture. Therefore, it will create gas pockets within the cheese. So that's what could have happened. There's a couple of ideas for you there. Monique says, Monique is from Sydney, yes. I hope you're doing well, Gavin Kim. Looking forward to seeing my Petite Blue and Jarlsberg cheese in the gallery. Indeed, they will. I will do them at 30 minutes past the hour. I haven't got a timer set. Just remind me. Somebody remind me, because last week we forgot. Sorry, not last week. Week before. Last weekend was Father's Day. Anyway, Ambrose has a question. I tried to make some halloumi the other week, but the curd did not form correctly after the water bath. I was wondering if it was because of the goat's milk was homogenised and pasteurised, or because of the rennet. Is old and can't get raw milk as it's illegal for sale for human consumption here. How didn't it form properly? Not enough information at the moment, Ambrose. Did it float, not float? Did it look like the wrong texture? Not sure what you're referring to. You'll have to give us some more information, and I'll get to that in the next half an hour, I dare say. But sorry about that. Martin's enjoying wet weather in Fife in Scotland, but he has a question around camembert. Mould or hoop? I made some a week ago and used a mould. Only one. Sorry, I can't read today. And can I make this bigger? I can't remember how to do it. Is it Control Plus? Yes. Oh, that's better. That's good when your eyes are getting a bit strained. He said only one end opened, and it just didn't drain down to the right size. I cut it through the middle, and I am maturing it now. No bloom, but fingers crossed. Is a hoop opened at both ends to drain more freely? I use the closed bottom, so it's more of a basket than a hoop when I make camembert. I just find it easier to manage for a home cheese maker. I have used open-ended moulds. You know, you can see like a tunnel, you can see straight through it. And they work equally as well, but you've got to make sure that they're on some kind of bamboo mat or, reed mat or any kind of mat, so it drains freely through. Good thing about the closed bottom camembert hoops, Martin, is they've got little feet on them, and it drains freely anyway. So, you just got to turn them more often if you've got a closed hoop, and it's a little bit tricky. You've got to make sure you've got a mat on the bottom and the top and flip her over. Traditionally, they use open-end hoops for camembert, so there could be a reason behind that. Just make sure you've got some draining mats underneath, and that should be good. But yeah, fingers crossed, it'll bloom and it'll taste fantastic. Okay. Martin also said, I saw a recipe where you add a ladle of curds every 10 minutes for an hour, not all at once. The camembert should have 5 layers inside, known as the 5 sisters. Maybe it would drain better. Yeah, it would indeed. It probably would drain. And remembering the stuff left in the pot would also have more time to seep out more whey as well, if that's the case. Remembering cheese is a living organism and doesn't remain very stagnant. Okay, Iowa says I snagged another Ask the Cheeseman just in time to pour a home brew. Well done, mate. Marlene says, hi Gavin, is it possible to mix raw and pasteurised milks in a single cheese? Yeah, of course it is. Nicola's already said, why would you do that though? If you're going to make a raw milk cheese, then make a raw milk cheese, and if you don't, you don't. You make a pasteurised one. It depends on the ratio that you're adding them. You will need some calcium chloride in there somewhere as well, just to help with the heat-treated milk. from pasteurisation. Anyway, Kuma says, "G'day Gav and Kim, no questions this week. Just happy to watch the stream and waiting for Monday when I get to crack open a 3-month farmhouse cheddar and a little experiment of mine." Well, that'll be fantastic. Once it, if not if, when it's successful, Kuma, shoot us a photo to the gallery, and you can get the email if you go to the About tab of the channel. There's a little email button. You can check what the email address is. Okay. Kevin says, "Hi Gav, I wanted to make a red wine infused cheese. Which is the best recipe should I use to get the marbling effect?" Try the stout cheddar. The stout cheddar recipe is probably the best. If you want to get a red marbled one, use that recipe, and instead of using stout, use red wine. Make sure the wine's a little bit warm, because if you don't, the curds will go fairly cold, and when you go to press it, it won't knit together properly, and you'll need a lot of pressure. For those types of washed, not washed curd, the wine infused or alcohol infused cheeses, I find you need so much pressure, and in fact I've actually extended pressing time for those types of cheeses, because you really do need it to close the rind. You don't want any cracks or fissures in the rind of those cheeses, because they'll get infected really quickly with rogue molds and all that sort of stuff. Okay. Marlene has amplified her question, maybe. Says, "I want to make Parmesan with raw milk, but I need to get the fat percentage to 2%. So you're going to use light milk, pasteurised milk. So yeah, no problems at all. You can do that. Make sure you add like I said, make sure you add a little bit of calcium chloride. Alan says, "What is the purpose of lipase and when should I use it?" Lipase is an enzyme that you add to hard Italian cheeses, or some Italian cheeses, sometimes some Spanish cheeses as well. And what it does, it adds a piquant flavour to the cheese. So piquant in Italian means spicy, so it's that bite at the back of your tongue when you have a really old aged Parmesan. And if you don't use raw milk like they do in Parmigiano Reggiano, then if you're using pasteurised milk, you won't get that effect. Well, not as well anyway. So that's why we add a little bit of lipase to those sorts of hard Italian cheeses. Also, if you're making mozzarella without raw milk, then you can add a little bit of lipase in as well. Sometimes it's used to imitate and make cow's milk kind of taste like goat's milk, because goat's milk naturally has a lot of lipase in it. Even when it's been pasteurised, it seems to hang around. So that's the purpose of it, is to break down the fats in the cheese as it ages. So lipase causes lipolysis, which is the breakdown of the fats within the cheese. So there you go. That's the layman's term, what lipase does. Lots of g'days going on here. Got another question from Rocky. Rocky says, "Hello Gavin, made your bel paese cheese. 2 thumbs up. This is a great and easy cheese to make. Have a stout cheddar maturing. Hope it tastes as well as it smelled." Yeah, mine had a lovely... Well, congratulations, first thing. Mine did taste... the stout cheddar was mild, but it had that lovely stouty odour as you ate. It was lovely presented on the cheese board. A little bit of marbling there. I think it tasted really, really nice. Next question is from Claire, and Claire says, my very first aged cheese Havarti is just over a week and it's starting to get blue, white and orange mould spots. What should I do? Havarti's a very moist cheese and it tends to grow moulds rapidly all over it because it can. Wash it off, wash all those bits off, pat it down with a paper towel if you've got it. Alright, yeah, paper towel's probably the best to make sure that it's touch dry, and then I would either wax it quickly or vacuum pack it. Now vacuum packing it tends to flatten a little bit because it's such a moist cheese. Best to wax it if you can. Make sure then when you wash it down it's got a simple brine solution, so that's a cup of cool boiled water, a tablespoon of salt and a teaspoon of vinegar. Just for the in this example, normally you wouldn't add the vinegar, but the vinegar helps inhibit the mold growth. And when you wax it, make sure the wax is at about 75 degrees Celsius, and that'll kill off any molds on contact with the wax. And you shouldn't, if you've got a good wax covering, you shouldn't have any mold growth underneath the wax. If worse comes to worse, there is a PVA coating that you can get, and you can put it all over, paint it all on. It's like a white plastic thing. You'll see it, commercial cheese makers, you more than often see it on Baby Bell cheeses, the little tiny cheeses. You'll see a little white coating underneath the red wax. That's a PVA coating, and it's got a mold inhibitor in it, so it inhibits mold growth. So there's some suggestions on what you can do. Okay, Diego says, I matured my Bel Paese for almost 5 weeks and it looks and tastes like a brie. Could the Geo trichum come from the milk? Pasteurised, non-homogenised from an organic farm. Typically Brio doesn't handle high temperatures very well, so I don't know, it could be a local infection. Look, you could it depends on how you matured it and if there's any white mold in the fridge or whatever. Look, I've had contamination. I've sanitized things down to the nth degree and still get a mold infection. It's very hard to avoid unless you use, Idafol or bleach, which are quite strong chemicals. But that's what they use in the commercial cheese making world to kill any molds or whatsoever, so there's no contamination. But yeah, I would have, if it started growing white mold, I would have wiped the Bel Paese down with a simple brine solution, and that would have fixed that, and continued to mature it. Anyway, we'll move right along. Dylan says dog cam. Yes, Holly's there. She's snoring now. I don't know if you can hear her. Diego says, how do I send a photo of my cheeses for your gallery? Well, I think I've answered that, but like I said, in the About tab on the channel page, if you go to the channel page, not right now, you're watching the show, at the About page, and there's a little send an email button, and you can send an email to me with all your attachments. Don't spam me. There's only like 5 or 6 gallery pictures per show, because we'll run out of time, but that'll be good. Ruth says, radiation done. Yay. Yeah, indeed. She finished radiation about 4 weeks ago, but the fatigue's kind of kicked in. We checked with the doctors and that's normal, so she's her battery's very limited as far as energy goes, but we're getting through it. We're getting through it indeed. Angela says, my friend has an overabundance of milk this year from her sheep, goats and cows. She has many gallons of milk in the freezer. Can you speak to how well frozen/thawed milk works in cheese making? It works very well. In fact, if you check out a video, Kim, can you pop up the video for the Pecorino Romano? And you'll see that I used frozen sheep's milk in that cheese, and then 2.5 years later when I tasted it, it just blew my mind. It was just an amazing cheese. So yes, I've even made a Vicino Romano, which is a cow's milk Romano, and that was using frozen milk as well, and that was fine. So, yes, don't leave it frozen too long. Just make sure that it's within a month, I would say. I know milk does degrade in the freezer if it's frozen too long, kind of separates. And Nicola helped in the about section. Yes, that's cool. Prepping Today says, what cheeses can be made without buying anything that gets used up? E.g., if the supply chain is disrupted, what gear is needed? What's the most versatile? Goodness me, there's about 20 questions there. The most easy cheese to make, all right, without anything. You got nothing. Ricotta, basically. If you boil milk, well, actually, no. Without anything, you got milk, right? Well, you can leave, if it's raw milk, then you can leave it to curdle in at room temperature for about 3 or 4 days, and it'll start to go solid. It'll set lactically. We're using the lactic acid that's developed by the lactic bacteria that are native in raw milk, and you'll have a cheese called Clabber. Safe to eat within 7 days-ish, but Clabber was known to, if the milk had tuberculosis or the cow animals had tuberculosis, it was a source of tuberculosis. So I don't know if I'll be doing that. But yeah, back in the old days, they made a cheese called Clabber. They drained it, and it was like a farmhouse cheese. And that was it. You didn't need anything, just the milk. Let it go off, go solid, and you had a cheese. There you go. There's the most versatile. Ruth says, real Jewish penicillin is bagels and cream cheese, homemade, of course. Fantastic, mate. Matthew says, how you doing? Doing all right, mate. Thank you very much. Kim's been banning people. Oh, she's been putting in links left, right and centre. Oh, I better get to where she's up to. Goodness me. I've lost me place as always. Doesn't always happen. Oh, there we go. All right. XPFC Wintergreen says, g'day, Gavin. Having some baked goat's cheese with roasted garlic, cherry tomato compote, and enjoying the show. Well done, mate. Sounds delicious. Julia says, hi from skiing Mount Hutt in Christchurch, New Zealand. G'day, Julia. Prepping Today says, can cultures be kept going without needing to buy new ones? Can they be paused or reactivated later? Can you start a new one from scratch without a commercial culture? Look, the direct vat inoculated cheese cultures that you buy in a packet, you can store for up to 2 to 5 years. Personally, I've done that, no problems at all. And I keep them all in little sterile jars like this one in the freezer. Bit difficult if you haven't got electricity, because they'll go gluggy very quickly once exposed to moisture. As long as the freeze-dried DVI cultures are still in powder form, still freely move around, they're okay to use. Once they go gluggy, that's when you have issues. Can you make new ones? Yes, you can make a mother culture. And in fact, in some books, there are instructions on how to make a mother culture. Basically, get some milk, inoculate it, and you put a lot of culture in it. And then you freeze those blocks into like ice blocks, and you add them to the milk when you make cheese. So that's one way you can do long-term storage. But of course, you've got to have it frozen still. So you can't like make a sourdough starter and then just, like something like that. I'm not saying not with yeast, but with lactic culture. You can't have that brewing in the background and then take bits out of it. It doesn't work that way. So, yeah, hope you learned something there. That random guy in the corner says, how do you feel about your Parmesan video becoming a meme and passing 2 million views? Very pleased, thank you very much. Didn't like all the swearing that went with it, but yeah, it was good. And that's not the highest viewed cheese I've got. And obviously the cheddar cheese, I think it's got over 3.2 million views already. But yeah, Parmesan is a very popular cheese. And that meme kind of pushed it over the top, and it was going quite well before the meme started, but thanks to Joe, that nice guy in the UK, made the meme and on Twitter. That's where it first started. And it kind of turned into a meme just about everywhere, like on iFunny, Reddit, 9gag, all those meme sites. But yeah, very cool. Okay, Ian says g'day from Edinburgh, and Joel says g'day from Georgia. Markinator says I have a question. How did I get into cheese making? Lots. I think I've answered this about 100 times. I just wanted to start making my own food. So, you know, we had started to become a little bit more self-sufficient here and growing our own veggies, had chickens and all that sort of stuff, and decided to make our own cheese. We got a $20 super chat for Ruth, and she has reminded me, oh so well, that it's time for the gallery. Thank you, Ruth. I appreciate it. Yes. So let's bring up the gallery. Just remember where I'm at, Gav. Where am I at? I'm at 8:07. Oh my goodness, I'm so far behind. All right, where's the gallery? Let's bring it up. I've got a picture here, queued, ready to go. Here we go. Alrighty, so the first picture today is a smorgasbord of cheese, all homemade, and this is from Christine Hayes, and this is her cheese board. It looks like she's got some Leodama there in the middle, the round one. She's got a Cotswold down the bottom, that bottom left. Looks fantastic. Can I pick up some of the other ones? There's a Formaggio Il Brocchio, a drunken cheese there. Looks like she's got a Wensleydale with cranberries. Not sure. Look, maybe an Edam. There's another round one there. Very interesting. Great cheese platter. Well done to you, Christine. Next one, and this one's from, and let me just make it a little bit bigger. Whoop, there we go. This is a blue cheddar from David Cervello. It looks absolutely fantastic. He used raw milk for this, and he said it turned out so well it exceeded his expectations. Okay, let's move on to the next one. This one's also from David. I'll just move it up. This is a Gowda that he made. Nice paste. A little bit of mechanical holes there, but you know, it's very hard to press a Gowda when it's such lightly pressed. But he said the flavour for that was fantastic. But I think he said that was made using pasteurised milk, store-bought milk. So very well done. Thank you, David, for sending those in. And, lucky last, he has another one which has a little bit of a story to it. This one is, this is a raw Milk Stilton. And he's got a bit of a spiel to go with this as well. Hang on, let me just read this out. It says, today I'd like to present to you your Stilton recipe. Oh, very cool. I made this with raw organic Jersey cow milk and organic raw Guernsey cream. Okay, so we added the cream. Both organic, both raw. It doesn't have the amount of blue you get from store-bought Stilton, but man, does it have an amazing Stilton flavour. The texture is amazing. We love it. Well done, David. Really appreciate you sending in those gallery photos. Let's just make that back that size. Here's the next one. This one's from Larry, who's in the chat today. And this is Larry's Gowda. A great texture, looks fantastic. I can smell it from here, Larry. It smells, I reckon it smells amazing. But well done. Next one. This is from Monique, who I think is in the chat as well. And this is her Jarlsberg. I had to clip the photo down a little bit, Monique, because I think you copied it off the Facebook page. But great eye development. She said the flavour was fantastic as well. I can see that she used a cheese trier there. I don't know if you can see my little cursor, but she's used a cheese trier there to take a core sample, and I think that's when she checked when it was ready. But well done, Monique. That looks like a fantastic Jarlsberg. She's got a little... No, there's no spiel. All right, the next one. This is from Monique as well. This is a petite blue that she made using my recipe as well. Lovely blue coating on the outside, and you can see the paste formation there. A little bit of chalky in the middle. It doesn't look too chalky. It looks very nice. Fantastic blue flavour. There's a choice I think I made in the video that you can either scrape the mould off or leave the mould on. It's a lot stronger when you leave the mould on, let me tell you. But that paste development looks fantastic. Well done, Monique. Okay, next one. This is from Patricia, and I haven't seen Patricia on today. But this is her Nova Scotia Strong Blue Cheese. Now that looks amazing. Great marbling and all, and the colours look spectacular. And then there's a bit of a spiel that goes with this one too. I'll just read that out. It says, "This is my own cheese, Nova Scotia Strong. Based on Shropshire Blue, this tall cylindrical cheese has bicoloured curds with goji berries across the equator. The idea was to reproduce the Nova Scotia provincial flag colours, which are white, yellow, red and blue in a single cheese. It has a firm paste and a flavour like a mild cheddar with that unmistakable blue cheese twang. The spots on the spots with goji berries are sweet and so complementary to the blue. It was a difficult cheese to make. Nova Scotia has had a difficult year to match. Nova Scotia Strong. Best regards, Patricia Gauchi." Thank you, Patricia. That is a fantastic looking cheese. I'm glad it tasted equally as good. But yeah, well done, mate. Appreciate it. Now, are there any other cheeses for the gallery? Let's have a look. I think that's the end of the gallery. Let me just go back to the main screen and I'll just check the little folder. Yep, that was it. That's the gallery. Thank you to everybody. Let me just close that. Thank you to everybody who sent in pictures to the gallery. You can send in your gallery pictures if you go to the About tab of the channel page. Send me an email with your pictures and I'll be glad to pop them up onto the stream at 30 minutes past the hour. And thank you so much, Ruth, for your kind $20 super chat to remind me that it was gallery time. But I love sharing your photos of all the pictures you've made, whether it's with or without my recipes. I don't mind. Anything new is amazing. But it's great it touches my heart that you've used some of my recipes to make those cheeses. Thank you so much. Okay, on with the questions. Let's see, who have we got? We talked about getting into cheese making. If you buy my, getting into cheese making, Markinator. If you buy my book there, Mark, the Keep Calm and Make Cheese, the beginner's guide to cheese making at home, you can read my whole story. The first chapter, I think, is all about how I got into cheese making. So there you go. Paul K says, "Hi Gavin, I made the farmhouse cheddar last week, but after a few days air drying, it started getting mouldy. I rubbed off the mould with brine and waxed it. Will it be okay?" Yes, it will. It will be fine. If you do air dry too long, mould loves to get in there and have a go. When you air dry the cheese until it feels like a clammy handshake. How's that sound? So not completely dry because mould will grow. Still a little bit, well, it's not damp. It's like a clammy handshake, if you know what that feels like. Anyway, that's when I then wax or vacuum pack the cheese if it's that type of cheese. Prepping today says, "Does goat's milk work as well as cow's milk?" Yes, it does. Indeed, it does. There are many famous goat's milk cheeses throughout the world. And Nicola's added an experience there. He says that from my experience with store-bought goat's milk, it's a bit harder to work with because the curd set is weaker. Yes, it is a little bit. Okay. Dylan says, do you have a mozzarella video? I think Kim may have already put the link up. Maybe not. Kim, if you can pop the link up, that would be fantastic for mozzarella. Where I'm up to. Pato says, has anybody tried making cheese with fungus? No, I haven't. Nicholas says, prepping. Oh, he's just answering everybody's questions. That's great. Kevin's Golden Sandwich says, are you the cheese man? Yes, I'm the cheese man. It's called Ask the Cheese Man. It's not my name. My name's Gavin, but yeah. Kevin says, just going into autumn and this past summer, all the seedlings were a disaster. So this year, growing vegetables was not good at all. I'm sorry to hear, Kevin. JW says, just got a cheese making kit as a present from my girlfriend. Super excited to make my first mozzarella tomorrow. Any pitfalls I should look to avoid? Follow the instructions. That's the best one. And make sure everything's clean and make sure you use enough rennet. Fresh mozzarella is not really a beginner's cheese. It's a little bit difficult if you don't get it right. So follow the recipe to the letter and you should be good. Okay. Kevin says, which culture can be used as a substitute for C21 buttermilk culture? I use any aromatic mesophilic. And I'm pretty sure that C21, which is from New England Cheesemaking Supply, I think it has a dash of rennet in it as well. If not, if it doesn't have any rennet, I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure that the Chev video, the Chev culture from them contains rennet. I'm pretty sure C21 may do. Buttermilk culture, use an aromatic mesophilic. That's what I do. Joel says, have you ever heard of Roy? I think that's my favourite cheese. Can't buy it in America. I believe it's a washed rind cheese, has an orange skin you can scrape off. No, I haven't heard of that cheese. Sounds very specific. And I haven't seen any recipes for it either. So I can't help you out there. Fabian says, I can't get my hands on rennet. What do I do? Don't panic, mate. Sure, you can get rennet somewhere. There are so many cheese-making supply companies. You can even get it on Amazon. I don't know, Amazon's not everywhere, but you should be able to order it online for sure, even in tablet form, which transports really, really well. Liquid rennet, yeah, not too bad. Especially as long as you get the vegetarian type, you'll find that lasts a lot longer than animal rennet. But yeah, look online. You can get rennet everywhere. I ship it overseas. Well, when I did ship overseas, not doing that at the moment due to COVID, can't get to the post office. Tina Marshai, Tinam Shy, I think that's how you say it. What kind of cheese do you recommend for a first-time cheesemaker without a cheese cave? Well, there's a video on that, and Kim's put it up, so fantastic. Hope that answers your question. Steve says, I've been researching cheese from Essex, UK. I found this goat or cow's milk cheese, which the Romans made, and it was riddled with maggots and was a classic delicacy. Have you ever heard of it? The Romans made a Romano style cheese. Funny about that, Romano, Romans. And that's what the legions used to carry around with them, because it used to be a hard, dry cheese, and yeah, sure, it had a little bit of mould on it. They just scraped it off and used it in their food. I don't know if it was riddled with maggots. I think there is a cheese called Casu Marzu, which comes from Sardinia, which has maggots in it specifically, and I wouldn't touch it with a barge pole. But no, I think was it not Cato? Yeah, it could have been. Roman historian mentioned the cheese that the legions carried around was a hard, dry cheese, and from that era, what we can determine these days is it was like a Romano style cheese, whether it be a goat or a cow's milk cheese. Anyway. Non-stop Clips says, I've been subbed for a long time, love your content. Thanks, mate, appreciate it. Hacker Russo says, I really like your vlogs. Keep making them. They are lovely. Thank you, mate. Yes, I'm going to make a couple today. If I can fit them in. Should be able to. It's a lovely day today. Craig says, a tip if you're making camembert with the closed hoops, provided you don't overfill them, I stack them one on top, about 4 high, and turn them all at once with the lid on top. Makes it easy. Oh, well done, Craig. No, great tip, mate. Fantastic. Quest Chan says, I think it's how you say it, sup fellow curd nerds. Well done, mate. Looking for another question. Kim's banned this guy about 20,000 times. I don't know what's going on here. Must be some just cheese questions, please. Thank you, Kim. You're a great moderator. I love your work. I haven't seen any bad ones yet, but that's because I'm like an hour behind. We've got 15 minutes to go. Let's get into this. Paul K says, another question. If I don't have annatto, can I use a regular food colouring, or is it another type of colouring that can be used? Well, what they used to do in England, if they couldn't get their hands on annatto, which was from South America, they used to use carrot juice as a colourant. That works and doesn't add too much flavour to the cheese. So if you want to make it, yellowish, that's a suggestion. Food colouring, I wouldn't touch it with a barge pole. Most of them are artificial, all the food colourings. So you're adding an unknown element into your cheese. At least annatto's natural and is tasteless as well. Yeah, but why would you not use annatto? You can get it anywhere. You can even get the seeds and soak them in water and use that. Matt says, hey Gavin, got into this because of your videos. I got done waxing a farmhouse cheddar. Notice an orange spot on my rind when waxing. Is that a terrible thing? No. As long as you washed it off before you waxed it, it should be fine. It won't grow without oxygen anyway, so you've done the right thing. Iowa says, but don't deep fry your cheese in the wax like I did. Must have been a little bit hot, that wax there, mate. Herb says, I started waxing instead of vac packing. For me, the results seem better. Yeah, you don't get that pressure problem that where the cheese is all crinkled on the outside when you take it out of the vac packing. Sometimes because of the atmospheric difference, the pressure difference between the cheese, which has been all the air sucked out of it, and the air, you will find that sometimes you get a bit of whey that's pulled out of the cheese, or some moisture. But with waxing, you don't get that. So, look, it's just a cheap and easy way to quickly seal your cheese using vacuum packing. Ambrose says, hi Gavin, the curd for the halloumi formed lots of small pieces. The curd for the halloumi. So it broke apart. Okay, now I know what you mean. Goat's milk, pure goat's milk. They do use a mixture of goat's milk, sheep's milk, and cow's milk when making halloumi. Remembering that goat's milk, if you used it, if it was pasteurised, homogenised, it's very hard to set. The curd's very weak. So maybe next time use 50% cow or 50% goat, and I think, the flavour will be there. But you'll have less issues with, like folding it, or when you heat it up in the whey and let it float up, it won't crack or anything like that. Maybe not use as much pressure next time when you press it beforehand, before you cut it into the sizes that you want. There's some hints, hopefully they work. But yeah, goat's cheese, goat's milk, pasteurised goat's milk by itself is very notorious for doing weird things. Anyway, moving right along, let's just, I've moved the mouse wheel and it's moved. We get up to 10 minutes to go. Let's have a look. Right, I've found where I was. Diego says, by the way, my brie looking bel paese tastes wonderful. Best cheese I've done in a long time. Well done, mate. Ambrose says, sorry for taking so long to reply. I nodded off and missed the beginning. Sorry, Ambrose. I know it's really late there. I can't even pronounce that. What's that? Snub? Horb? Hi Gavin, thank you so much for all your videos. We are making our second cheese today, a Crescenza. Question, can we already taste it the next day? All the best from Vancouver Island to all of you. Yes, you can. You can. Even though mine had a white mould on it, it is a fresh cheese. You can use it straight away, so you won't have too many problems with it. I says, if you freeze milk, it separates and you can trim off part of the cream to adjust the fat content. That is a good suggestion. Well done, Ior. Debbie says, how long can I store whey in the fridge before using it to make ricotta? 3 hours tops. Whey still has lactose in it and still has the lactobacteria, and it becomes very acidic. If it becomes too acidic, you won't be able to separate it into ricotta. Should use it straight away. As soon as you've made the cheese, you've got the whey, make the ricotta. It's very hard to store. It's just notorious because as soon as that acidity in the whey gets too high, it doesn't form ricotta. So there you go. Somebody speaking in Arabic says, hi, you are a great man, I love you. Right back at you, mate. Fat Axel, just eating some superb Comte right now. Cheers, mate. You're a great inspiration because of your passion for the craft. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Nicola's asking other people's questions, so well done. Only said exactly the same thing I did. Didn't even see that. There you go. We're on the same wavelength there, Nicola. Well done, mate. Next question. We've got a super chat. Thank you so much. I can't even see what colour that is. That's California Jones. Lovely to see you. Thanks for all you do. Best wishes. Thank you so much for the $15 super chat. I appreciate that, California. Prepping Today says, thank you very much, sir. Good info for admittedly unusual questions. Thumbs up. Right back at you. Jean says, can I make feta without lipase? Indeed you can. You can use goat's milk and that'll taste just like real feta. More like Bulgarian feta. If you want traditional Greek feta, apparently you're supposed to use, as the Greeks tell me many times on my videos, 70% sheep's milk and 30% goat's milk. That is the designation of protected origin recipe is 70% sheep's, 30% goats. And it tastes fine without lipase. Anton says, love you, man. Been following you for years. Cheers. Thanks, mate. The people are reacting to the photos. Kim says, fantastic photo. She's feeling hungry for cheese. I think we'll have to have some cheese for breakfast, honey, once the show's over. But yeah, well done. They are some amazing cheeses in the gallery. What are goji berries? They're a little red berry this big. You can buy them in packets dried. Well, here you can anyway. I haven't seen them fresh. Let's have a look. Ruth says, my pics didn't make it. Maybe I sent the wrong one. Ruth, I'll have to check back and check those. I can't open my email at the moment because all sorts of weird things will happen on camera and we don't want that happening. But yeah, I'll make sure that if you've sent some through and I've got them, I'll pop them in the gallery. Sorry about that. Nicola says, sometimes mine didn't make it as well. Sometimes they don't because I miss them. I get so many emails. I go through and find the ones I can about a day before and pop them all in the gallery. But I'll try and find some more. Let's have a look. Any other questions? Prepping Today says, would you recommend a book or two you think might be the most useful reference in face of the supply chain disruption? Yep, so last few questions. So Prepping Today says, so if you want to use just raw milk and get the most out of it, get a book by David Asher called The Natural Art of Cheese Making or something like that. So look it up, David Asher Cheese Book, and he uses all natural methods to make cheese. Quite different to some of the commercial ones. But he has this class called the Black Sheep of cheese making. So, yeah, it's quite unique recipes, and they're pretty good. Charlie says he's looking forward to getting my second book. Yeah, look, mate, I'll get around to finishing it soon. I know that's a running gag lately. I've been saying it for years. Bruce says, good to see either you or the on-screen... what? Good to see you either on-screen or in comments. By the way... Oh, this is Kim, I think. 10 years cancer-free as of 22nd this month. Well done, Bruce. And Kim said, fantastic knows. Ruth says, sent a couple of photos 2 weeks ago, one earlier today. Never seems to reach. If you sent it today, Nicola, I was asleep. I haven't opened my email yet, so if you've sent one, I'll pop it into next week's gallery. So it's no issues, mate. Just don't get to everything that I get sent. Bose says, do you have any partners in Western Europe to purchase kits? I would love to get my hands, but shipping from AU to EU is a pain. Yes, dear.
Hannah Ruth asking a question, you might have just jumped over it. She's asking about some cheese with a kit that she got.
Who?
Hannah Ruth.
Oh, yeah, I'll check it out. Oh, no, I haven't got it yet. Sorry, Kim, the producer came in and asked me a question. No, we don't have any partners in the EU. Sorry, mate. We're just a small little home business, and no, we don't have anything outside of our business residence. So Megan says, hi Gavin, recipe video request, can you do a video of a washed rind brie? I'd love to see you make one. Yeah, I can write that down. Washed rind brie. Don't know how much brie it will be, but anyway, there is another question. Somebody, Ruth Hannah says, hi there, Gavin and Kim. Thank you for the parcel. I am making camembert. Can I fix the cracks? Fix the cracks of your camembert? Is there another question that amplifies that? Did you get my question? Yes, I did get the question. Can you fix the cracks? Not sure what you're referring to in the camembert. If there's cracks in the camembert, it sounds like the curds were too dry. The only way to fix cracks in a camembert is to leave them drain longer, and you'll find that any cracks that are there still will form a rind after about 24 hours. But keep turning it in the moulds, and you'll find that it all firms up. Should do that within the first 24 hours though, if there are any cracks in your camembert. Like I said, the curds may have been too dry. If you've got any cracks whatsoever. It's fairly moist cheese, so it doesn't have too much of a problem. Steve says, try saffron instead of annatto. Yes, you get a flavour. You'll get a saffron flavour, of course, but you'll get colour, that's for sure. Matt says, thanks very much, Gavin. It's a fun hobby and your videos are great. Thanks, mate. Bill says, another option for yellow colouring is turmeric. It does add some flavour. Also paprika. Yeah, there's a couple of things there. That's good. Bill says, I made a Cotswold with turmeric and paprika, but it isn't ready yet. So that'll be interesting. Send us a photo, mate. A little description on how it tasted. Kazzy said, what cheese makes the longest amount of time to become edible? Any of the hard Italian cheeses take a long time for the flavour to develop. If you eat them too early, they're just fairly bland. You're talking over 10 months, at least, before you get a good hard Italian cheese. Anyway, Bose says, Gavin, can you get international shipping? I have a ton left and can send you some if you like. Send me some, what? I'm just trying to figure out what you said that we needed to send me some. You can't send cheese. I wouldn't send cheese internationally if that's what you're trying to do. But thanks anyway, Bose. But yeah. What else we got? Oh, Kim's giving me the wrap up. California Jones says gallery. Yes, we had it at past the hour, so I think you missed it, California. Toby says, "Hey Gav, greetings from the UK. Have you ever smoked a cheese? Any ideas how to do this at home?" Yes, I did buy a smoking kit for my barbecue, and because the weather's a lot better now, and I've got some cheese in the cheese cave that I've been saving. It's probably very old now, but I'd like to smoke it, but I'll do a video on that. A smoke gun works. It's got to be cold smoked, not hot smoked. I have used some smoked liquid smoke, and that works, Toby. So there is a Gowda that I liquid smoked, and that works fine. Kim says, if you want to support the show, then check out patreon.com with that link, and you can support the show financially. There's also a join button down below if you want to get early access to videos on both Patreon and YouTube. I release them 24 hours ahead of everybody else, so you get to check them out, comment, and in fact, some people have actually helped me out there. Quite a few times there's been an error in the video, so I'll reprocess it and upload it again without mistakes. So thanks for those people who helped me fix any errors in the cheese making videos. But yeah, 24 hours before if you are a financial member. But that's cool. Okay, don't forget that you can buy merch like the cup. There's lots of cups. I've got all the logos on the cups and the t-shirts. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. There we go. Certified Curd Nerd. Over at teespring.com, and there's the link in the chat there. Thanks so much, everybody, for coming to the show today. We'll have another Ask the Cheeseman next week. Things are on the up and up, so I don't think we'll miss it. But it's been fantastic to see you all. Really do appreciate all the questions. Without the questions, it wouldn't be a show. And I really enjoy presenting to you today. So, yeah, fantastic. All right, thanks, Curd Nerds, for watching, and we'll see you next time.